Hello again, everybody. Second Tech is here with the Groundhog Day edition of the Atak Sportz, or as many people would call the morning after edition of the Atak Sportz on this Groundhog Day, February the 2nd, 2015. Alright, let's kick it off with, of course, the ratings coming in for the Super Bowl. Of course, if you haven't seen my Super Bowl review there yet on this channel, it is on here. My thoughts on the game, just to put it in a nutshell, it was a more exciting game than last year. It was not a blowout. It was an exciting game and a great ending. With the last two plays, a big fumble catch from the Seahawks and, of course, the interception that cost Seattle the game. And what many people are still saying this morning, why didn't he just pass it to Marshawn? Why did he throw it? But with that exciting of a game, being more excited than the blowout from last year, no wonder why today it is revealed that the Super Bowl is the most watched show in U.S. history. According to NBC and the NFL, 114 million viewers watched Super Bowl 49. That number trumped last year's 112 million from last year's Super Bowl. Viewership on Sunday peaked at 120 million between 9:45 and 10. The last 15 minutes of the game with those two epic plays. The last 3 minutes of the game. The 47.5 household rating is the best in 30 seasons since Super Bowl 20 in 1986. Also getting big reviews and big ratings is Katy Perry's halftime show. A very spectacular show, even for those who don't like Katy's music. Garnered 118 million viewers and a 48.2 average household rating, both of which are also records. She earned 3 million more viewers than Bruno Mars' halftime show last year. So there you go with that. Social media-wise, it was big on social media. According to Twitter, there are 395,000 tweets per minute when Malcolm Butler, who should have won the MVP instead of Tom Brady, made that last minute and then caught that last minute interception with 20 seconds remaining in that last big play of the game. There were also 379,000 tweets per minute when the game ended with a Pats victory. Well, Katy Perry's halftime show garnered 238,400 tweets per minute. So, there you go with that exciting game. Big ratings, victory for Super Bowl, despite all the scandals. The Deflategate, even having Warren Sapp being arrested this morning for soliciting a prostitute. He's not playing anymore, but he's still on the NFL Network, suspended for now because of that bullshit. Big ratings for Super Bowl, making it the highest rated show in U.S. history, according to NBC and the Super Bowl in NFL. So there you go with that. Now, the Super Bowl wasn't the only thing going down this weekend. Of course, the day before the Super Bowl, you had the NFL honors, honoring the best in the NFL. Some of the big winners, including the Associated Press Offensive Rookie of the Year going to Odell Beckham from the Giants after that one-handed catch that made him a superstar. The Offensive Player of the Year was DeMarco Murray from the Cowboys. Obviously had a great season. Coach of the Year, second year in a row, went to Bruce Arians from the Arizona Cardinals, leading his Cardinals to a great record despite the quarterback problems that plagued them the second half of the season. While another Cardinals player, Larry Fitzgerald, won the first ever Art Rooney Award, named after the legendary owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I told you the offensive rookie. Defensive rookie was Aaron Donald. Defensive player of the year was J.J. Watt of the Houston Texans. Comeback player of the year was Gronk, who had a big weekend besides winning that and, of course, winning the Super Bowl. And MVP of the year was not Tom Brady, nor was it DeMarco Murray. It was Aaron Rodgers, winning his second MVP award. Interesting year for Rodgers with his RELAX, relax. And Green Bay had a great season despite losing the NFC Championship to the Seattle Seahawks. Bet you all the Packer fans like, yay, they lost. Payback. Come on. So there you go. They also announced who's going into the Hall of Fame. Junior Seau, Jim Brown, the Boss, Jerome Bettis, among others, while Kurt Warner was left out. The Man of the Year, the Walter Payton Sweetness Man of the Year, was handed out to Thomas Davis for the Carolina Panthers. So there you go with that. Congrats to all the winners in the NFL honors. Big weekend for the NFL. Hence this shirt. Now, with a little beer, wrestling news, of course. Before we get to that, of course, UFC happened on Saturday. If you didn't see that review yet, it's on here as well. But UFC 183 in the return of Anderson Silva. First, get on to my thoughts on TNA Impact Wrestling that happened this past Friday, with Bobby Lashley defending his title in a fatal four-way match between him, Austin Aries, MVP, and Bobby Roode. It was a fun fatal four-way match, even with Eric Young getting involved, costing Roode the matchup yet again, and he cost him the title. And a big brawl happened at the end of the show, with Angle coming out, of course, leading towards Lockdown next week. This week, actually, this Friday on Destination America. Also, we have Hardy against Abyss. And the Monsters Ball match is pretty good. No blood, though, but still a fun matchup. Very physical matchup. With Jeff Hardy winning after he slammed Abyss onto the tacks that Abyss brought out into the game. And despite interference from the Revolution. Because James Storm came out as well, and Manic, and all that shit. And lockdowns this week. Since TNA can't afford pay-per-views anymore, now their pay-per-views are now free. You got Team Angle against Team MVP, Team Beatdown Clan in the Lethal Lockdown. So it'll be MVP, Joe, Low Key, and I'm assuming Kenny King. Yeah, Kenny King. Those four will take on Kurt Angle, Gunner, Austin Aries, and a fourth partner to be announced. Maybe Bobby Lashley, maybe not. Bobby Lashley said no to his offer from last week. So we'll see who Angle gets for his fourth guy. And all the matches will be in the steel cage, including Awesome Kong and Havoc finally happening in the cage. That should be intriguing. Then, of course, we have tag team title match. The Hardy Boys against the Revolution. Everyone probably heard about Jeff Hardy's big spot that he had during the matchup. A nasty spot. That's going to be seen on TV. It's going to be intense to see it on TV. Then, of course, Eric Young, Bobby Roode, one-on-one in the cage, and Tyrus taking on Eric Young's friend and Jeremy Boash's friend. Well, Eric Young's former friend, but no, Jeremy Boash's friend. Rockstar Spud and his buddy Mandrews. So that's going to happen this Friday on Impact. Destination America, 9 p.m. Now on to War tonight. Yes, there will be War tonight. After last week's War didn't happen because of a snowstorm. As you may notice, I did not make a War review this past week. Because why review a show of interviews and replays from the Rumble match in the title match? I did see SmackDown though, but I didn't make a review for it. That'll lead us to our top 3 questions that must be answered on War tonight. The first War live since the Rumble. Question number 3. Will we have any new matches added for Fastlane? Now, what we do know for Fastlane, the new pay-per-view, which is free on the WWE Network for $9.99, well, it's free this month for new subscribers, that makes up for the UK, because UK was supposed to get it during the month of free back in November. But now that UK finally got it, now they're doing it for free, and because of the 1 million subscribers as well. And to promote Fastlane. Triple H is set to call out Sting during that pay-per-view, or as I like to call it, the tease for their match at WrestleMania. And John Cena against Rusev. I'm so stunned that's going to happen at Fastlane. It's either going to lead to Cena Rusev again at WrestleMania, or Rusev right back at WrestleMania. We'll see how it goes. But I don't think Rusev should lose to John Cena. I don't think that should happen. Because like I said, Rusev loses to John Cena, his career will go down quickly. Like I said, Sandow, in my previous reviews and all this stuff, Sandow is trying to recover from losing to Cena. And at least Rollins is trying to recover too. He had a great performance though against Cena. And last night at the Royal Rumble. See how that goes. Speaking of the Rumble, that leads to question number 2. Will Roman Reigns get booed out the building? I have nothing against Roman Reigns. You know, he's an okay guy, but he's being pushed down our throats too quickly. If people want D-Bryan in the main event, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think that he's going to relent to the fans again. But I'm hearing Daniel Bryan will take on Dolph Ziggler at WrestleMania. That should be good. D-Bryan had a good match against Kane on Thursday. It's not easy to have a good match with Kane. But that was a good, fun casket match on SmackDown. And I will hope for D-Bryan and Ziggler. I'd rather see that than D-Bryan and Sheamus. 2 guys who are in the same position. Victims of bad booking who want to rally and say, hey, WWE, book us better. And what better way to do that than to wrestle each other and steal the fucking show? That's what I'm hoping they'll do if they are in WrestleMania, even though I'm hearing it may be the opening match. And Women's Reign is the main event. So we'll see how the Roman Reigns is received tonight. And speaking of WrestleMania, that leads to question number 1. What is the big major announcement Triple H has been teasing over the weekend? He teased it on SmackDown. There was supposed to be some announcement tonight that was going to shake the WWE by its core. Well, better be something to make up to the fans for the shitty Royal Rumble. But I don't know if that's going to happen. You know, rumors are flying. It's going to involve the Ambrose, maybe Wildlands. Who knows what Triple H's announcement is going to be. But hopefully it is something that will at least shut the fans up for the Royal Rumble. But WWE is flipping up the fans by saying, all these canceled WWE tweets and shit. Well, we won, motherfuckers. We got 1 million subscribers. So there you go. See what happens on Raw tonight. 8/7 Central on USA Network. That is it for my Atak Sportz today. And yes, there will be a Raw review tonight. There will be a Raw review tonight. Because at least it is actually a Raw tonight. Not a Raw from a studio. Like last week. With that in mind, y'all, even though Raw was in the studio, it was better done. It had more focus than a regular show. Let's see what happens tonight when it's a regular 3-hour show again. With that in mind, y'all, but it's Act with the sports news from Zach. Thank you very much. See ya! Yeah.